All right. Hello, we are Group One. We're going to be presenting on Enron. My name is Lexa Sandoval.
My name is Andrew Reese.
And my name is Frank Salvador.
I'll be starting us off. All right. So, what was Enron? Enron is an energy and commodities and a broadband company. They were based in Texas, and they originally were founded in 1985. Its peak market cap was over $70 billion before its collapse. Its notoriety, it was known as one of the biggest corporate frauds in U.S. history, and it led to its legacy was led to the creation of the Sarbanes-Oxley Act in 2002. Some of its known parts of timeline would be like 1985 when it was founded as a gas pipeline company. In the 1980s, it was known for its rapid expansion into energy trading and broadband services. And in 2001, that's when its accounting irregularities were uncovered. And in 2001 of December, they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So this is Enron before the 2001 scandal. In 1987, they were a part of what was known as the Valhalla scandal. Um, they had unauthorized oil trading in Enron Oil. A lot of their losses were hidden and their profits were faked, and this marked the start as of their toxic corporate culture. And then in 2000 to 2001, that was when the California energy crisis had begun. They had manipulated a lot of the energy supplies to inflate prices, and they also were profiting off of this while causing blackouts across the entire state. And then in 2001, they had falsified success. They were praised as a Wall Street darling, when in reality, they had one of the biggest frauds hidden off of the books, hidden like partnerships and false records. So they were well regarded in the business world. They were sorry, they were named one of America's most innovative companies for 6 years in a row by Fortune magazine. And then they were also ranked number seven on the Fortune 500 and at its peak in 2001. Its peak stock price was $90.75 per share, and they were valued among all the Wall Street top performers. This was their stock throughout the years. As you can see, towards the end, it does start to drop, especially at its peak. Right? And then the Valhalla scandal in 1987. Basically what it was unauthorized high risk trading. There was a lot of oh, sorry. Um, its oil trades were done without oversight, and they started doing, or sorry, they were profiting without regarding ethics. This has marked the beginning of unethical practices for their short-term gain. And their reported losses at the time, they had lost about $85 million, and this had started in this was like an early indicator of deeper issues with the company. And I'll be passing it to the next person.
I'll be going over the 2001 scandal. Next slide. So basically, the 2001 scandal was a result of Enron's accounting practices. One of them was mark-to-market accounting, which was implemented under Jeffrey Skilling when he became CEO, which allowed them to report potential future profits as current earnings. An example of this is with their partnership with Blockbuster, which was another failure, but they still reported millions in profit. In reality, they lost millions. Special purpose entities allowed Enron to transfer their debt to fake companies to make Enron look healthier and ma help them help them to get investors. Um, However, this was misleading investors to Enron's true state. Next slide. Um, there were several whistleblowers, but Sharon Watkins is credited with being the one for taking down Enron. She worked at Enron as vice president, and she reported accounting irregularities to Kenneth Lay, who resumed CEO after Skilling stepped down, and to which he assured her that he would look into it and launch an internal investigation. However, obviously, nothing happened. Um, in October, the SEC became aware of this, and they launched a formal investigation into Enron. This forced Enron to redo their financial statements, and it resulted in it revealing $586 million in losses. Next slide. So this is the stock decline after the accounting regulators came out. As you can see, it goes from a high of about 36 to literal pennies. Um, and throughout this time, the CEO, Kenneth Lay, is selling his stocks while assuring the public, the investors, and the employees everything is going to be okay. And he's making millions at their expense. Next slide. So Enron filed for bankruptcy on December 2nd, 2001. Uh, this was the sixth largest bankruptcy in U.S. history. However, at the time, it was the largest. And they also had 65.5 billion in assets. Next slide. So how did Enron get away with the fraud? Their accounting firm, Arthur Andersen, helped them falsely report profits. In addition to this, when the legal proceedings started, Arthur Andersen also shredded uh, papers regarding Enron, essentially destroying evidence. There was internal and external oversight failure. Um, and Enron top management knew what they were doing, they just didn't care. Um, uh, Entities like the SEC, they didn't put much thought into what was going on at Enron. In addition to that, the work culture at Enron made it seem okay. Misplaced public and media trust, as stated earlier, Enron was the Wall Street darlings. No one wants to believe it, and continued assurance from top management, saying that was going to be okay. Next slide. So this is a chart showing Enron's profits in relation to its employees. And as you can see, to other companies like them, it just doesn't make any sense, which doesn't make sense why no one questioned it. Next slide. So the aftermath of this scandal, um, go next slide. So legal repercussions, Jeffrey Skilling was sentenced to 24 years, but it was later reduced to 14 years. He was released in 2019. Andrew Fastow, he pled guilty. He was the first to serve. He did 5 years. Kenneth Lay died before his sentencing in 2006, and Arthur Anderson was convicted with obstruction of justice for destroying the Enron-related documents. Next slide.
So we're going to be talking about the aftermath and losses resulting in Enron. $11 billion in shareholder losses to begin with. Most of its investors lost billions. This led to Enron stock collapsing. It also led to the massive layoff of 20,000 employees losing their jobs. It also was followed by 60% of their employees losing their retirement funds. This included their 401k savings. It wiped out Enron's entire stock, and it just became absolutely worthless after. Employees were encouraged to reinvest in Enron as almost like a last resort. Workers were heavily pushed to put their retirement savings into Enron shares, but this honestly just worsened their financial losses in the end. Next slide, please. So shortly after Enron's scandals and frauds were made public, it led to the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002. It was created by the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, also known as the PCAOB. This was established to regulate and oversee accounting firms, again, oversight, resulting in any auditing made public within the companies. Um, the new reporting standards, this led overall to more stricter rules being implemented for all accounting firms in general, and basically just greater accountability required for any corporate executives involved. Next slide, please. So they wanted to do an implementation of a better set of rules. FASB, also known as Financial Accounting Standards Board, was became involved again, making the rules more strengthened, more refined. This was used to promote a better ethical accounting environment and to practice financial practices in a more ethical manner. This also again increased SEC oversight. SEC standing for Securities and Exchange Commission. It was just basically used for financial offices and agencies and being more of the watchdog to make sure they're doing everything by the book. Next slide, please. So the effects on other companies. One of the effects it had was on Arthur Andersen LLP. Shortly after the scandal, Arthur Andersen collapsed and it ceased auditing public companies shortly after. Any banks contributed or involved in the recovery funds of Enron that aided Enron in any sort of way were forced to contribute billions into a recovery fund. This led its shareholders and employees to honestly have a more negative impact. Next slide, please. Corporate reform. So increased diligence from firms. Companies showed greater effort to stay compliant with ethical and legal standards. Again, doing everything by the book. Greater auditor independence. Auditors were required to maintain more independence from the companies, any companies that they reviewed, in order to reduce conflicts of interest. Next slide, please. Enron's alternatives options before filing bankruptcy. They come up with a few alternatives on the side. They try to attempt a merger with a company called Denagi. Enron nearly closed an $8 billion company deal with Denagi, but it collapsed due to Enron's worsening financial troubles. This led to them trying to secure more finance from creditors in order to close ongoing asset sales and pursue new ones. But at that time, their current credit ratings plummeted, which made any sort of credit rating for them to secure financially impossible, sealing their fate. Next slide, please. Financial takeaways. Some big financial takeaways were between 2004 and 2012. They paid around 21.8 billion to its creditors. They had credit repayment, and again, they were hiding debt and toxic assets from their investors and creditors, which led to its downfall. Next slide, please. Overall, in summary, Enron's greed and arrogance led to the collapse of their company. Enron's share price fell from $95 to less than $1. And the December 2001 bankruptcy filing led again to $11 billion in shareholder losses, 20,000 employee layoffs, and 60% of their employees losing their 401k retirement funds. And with that, that concludes our presentation. My name is Frank Salvador.
My name's Lexa Sandoval.
My name is Andrew Reese.
Thank you.
Thank you.